something you don't know, Gloria. As my little brother.
Yeah, really? It is. Yeah, this is really my brother. 40 years together, doing wonderful things. Even in Equatorial Guinea, I just was ambassador, my friend, the ambassador. Yeah,
Of Senegal. Mina, please support Mina. Mina is the advisor of the president.
meetings of the United Nations General Assembly just across town, when we know our friends and our dignitaries from Africa are here in New York City. Family and the executives that are part of Forbes Media are very proud of our long-standing and unwavering commitment to the African continent. By the end of this year, Forbes will publish 5 editions in their efforts to improve African opportunity. The Forbes Best of Africa Leadership designation is based on their tireless work over the past year to build bridges within the U.S. and the African business communities. Now, the 3 people are U.S. Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker, who led the U.S. government effort to host the very successful 2014 summit in Washington, D.C. Second is Nigerian businessman Aliko who, through his efforts on the ground in Nigeria, neighboring countries, and here in the U.S., is leading the fight for future African-U.S. partnerships. Our third is Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who has fought valiantly to reopen the country to U.S. investment and cooperation. This will be an annual recognition by our company, and I want to add my personal congratulations to these 3 extraordinary leaders. I'd like to invite our friend from Egypt, His Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sam Mashouk, to say a few words. Sam, if you could please come to the stage.
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored and delighted to be with you tonight to convey the President's appreciation for the award you have bestowed upon him from a magazine, Forbes, which is an institution in itself. So it is really an honor and a privilege, and we hope that this edition, Best of Africa, will highlight the endeavors of many of the African countries, among them my own, to consolidate their relationship to the United States, create better conditions and environment for our inter-African cooperation, and continue to play a positive role in development objectives. This 70th session of the General Assembly will kick off with another summit before related to development in Africa. And this is what we are concentrating on, South-South cooperation, but we can only do that in conjunction with our reliance on the help and assistance of our close relationship to the United States and the potential of trilateral cooperation between African states and the United States among themselves and with the help of the United States. So I thank Mr. Steve Forbes for hosting us tonight, and we look forward to his coming to Cairo to meet with President Sisi personally and to convey the award. And we will certainly maintain our relationship with Forbes and work closely with them to advance all that is the best of Africa. Thank you very much.
Bonjour. Buonanotte. My name is Paul Trustful. I'm Forbes Custom Emerging Market Editor, and it's my great pleasure to introduce, sorry guys, my boss Steve Forbes. It was almost 100 years ago, in 1917, that Steve Forbes' grandfather, B.C. Forbes, launched Forbes magazine. His father, Malcolm Forbes, built the publication to even a greater prominence around the world. Steve has played a leadership role at Forbes Media and has overseen the company transition in a digital age. This is Steve Forbes.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We're honored by your presence here, Mr. Ambassador, Mona, and all the others. All of you coming here to celebrate our Best of Africa partnership, which has been, Mike indicated, this is our 4th, and we look forward to doing many more. Growth in the world right now is not in good shape, the global economy, but this is a detour, and contrary to what a lot of economists think, this is a temporary situation. In my own country here in the U.S., we're undergoing a presidential election. And while some feel right now it more resembles a reality TV show than a political process, this is a long process. And I think what you're beginning to see emerge when you get away from all of the fireworks, that certainly on the Republican side, there's going to be major changes made in this country that will get the United States back on a positive path of growth, which will be good for the rest of the world. And one of the areas that we're very excited about is indeed Africa. And that is because it's a continent where we have over 1 billion people. It has not had the kind of growth that other parts of the world have had. But that, as all of you know and here to testify, that is rapidly changing. You look at Africa, even though the commodities boom, Africa has much more going for it than simply commodities. You see manufacturing, telecommunications, obviously tourism, finance. In countries, in terms of developing electronic finance, several African countries are really global leaders. You see it in the building of roads and rails. There's a lot to be done. In Angola, you have an agreement recently with China on a hydroelectric plant. Africa needs electricity. That is not a problem. That is a huge move, the barriers to make that happen. The new Suez Canal in Egypt is a very, very exciting prospect, but it's only one of the aspects of Egypt that should make that country really the next big growth country across the board in Northern Africa. The elements are all there for that growth. Even though Egypt went through some turmoil, beneath the surface of things, reforms were being made on the tax side. For example, your income tax has rates much lower than we have here in the U.S., which certainly got my attention. And I wish some of our people in Washington, and they will after these next elections, will follow your good example on that. And other things. The Inga Dam in the DRC, very exciting. And the elections in Nigeria, where you had a peaceful transfer of power. Nigeria is also going through considerable turmoil, but also enormous promise there. And we think that's going to be a huge opportunity for growth. Senegal, among other things, now joins the Security Council, which is a great mark of a diplomatic achievement. So you put it all together, and changes are being made. Things are happening. No more just depending on a resource. Entrepreneurship is being unleashed. Barriers are being removed from entrepreneurs. And this is something, there's no reason why Africa in many areas can't be a global leader. And I think you're going to see that. There's no lack of energy in that country. I'm talking about people energy. It's just you haven't had the institutional structures that allow that energy to lead to rapid economic growth. But that is now changing. So right now, the world looks like a mess. Our political system looks like something else. I won't say what the words are. But these things will sort themselves out. So if you're willing to bet on stocks, now is the time to buy in Africa, Egypt and Nigeria and elsewhere, not when other people are rushing in, even though equity funds are still keenly interested in investing billions of dollars. Many multinationals are investing billions of dollars, recognizing the opportunity. But this is the time to get in when people are hesitant, people are skeptical. You make money going against the crowd, not following the crowd. So Africa has great growth ahead, and I'm delighted. We're delighted in Forbes Media that we're in partnership with it. I look forward to visiting the countries represented here tonight, especially as several of them have said they'll treat me to free lunches and dinners. Being of Scottish descent, I'm all for that. But seriously, we are delighted with this partnership. Thank you for it. And we're all going to have a more prosperous future. And at least tonight, we have here the liquidity that central banks seem to be applying with no effect, but our liquidity will stimulate you. So with that, thank you very much.